The Last Epoch situation got even crazier. Before I logged on to the internet yesterday, I wrote, recorded, and edited my first video on this game's tremendous 1.0 launch. After hopping onto Discord and Reddit, I quickly realized the launch situation had evolved, and not for the better for most of the online use player base. You were supposed to stabilize the server's EHG, not turn them off entirely. This video delves even deeper into the entire reality revolving around Last Epoch's launch, from the plight of the desperate online players like myself and the sheer snarkiness of the kingly offline players, to the continued excellent response from Judd Kobler and the rest of the 11th Hour Games team during this apocalyptic scenario. They are suffering from success. That much is evident on day 1, 2, and 3 of launch. Travelers and exiles, welcome. I am Talking to Try. Let's talk some Last Epoch. Luckily for the Last Epoch developers, day 2 of the 1.0 launch started off strong. Judd Kobler, aka Mox, aka Last Epoch's game director, began the day with an update in Discord at 10:25 a.m. Eastern Time, a little under a day after the game's launch. Morning, everyone. I'll be posting updates here again today. Currently, we are investigating issues with transitions failing or taking a long time to process. We have a bit of a lead and believe this may be related to logging. I'll keep everyone posted. Note, this does include the inability to get into game. The game was just above 100,000 concurrent players at that time, readying for a huge peak later in the day. A few minutes later, Mox added, matchmaking connecting to scenes are starting to improve but still variable. Town scenes and Monolith are looking good, but we're working to improve Wild Scene Combat Zone. Time transitions, including initial login, which may connect you to the first Wild Scene unless you've already visited a town scene. Good leads for ways to further remove bottlenecks this morning with the team refreshed. Everything was starting to look on the up and up, but then the Europeans got off work, or at least that's what I'm going to go with. His next update was at 11:10 Eastern Time, or just around the end of the workday for most of Europe. We're seeing a spike in scene transition failures at the moment. Matchmaker is backed up. We're now working to reduce logging, which may help this issue. We'll keep everyone posted. Obviously, Last Epoch has been in early access since 2019. However, the previous player peak before launch was March 2023 with a 40,504 player peak. In the months leading up to launch, the peaks were 4,304 in November 2023, 2,564 in December 2023, and 7,769, nice, in January 2024. With 1 million copies sold before launch, was this huge peak surprising? I would say not, but the servers definitely did not seem prepared for the tsunami. He followed up a bit later over the course of about an hour with a tremendous series of updates to the client. Client update that every real posted about below will be deployed momentarily. The downtime may take up to an hour, but may be very significantly lower. We'll know soon. A massive reduction to logging, which we have reason to believe may be contributing to the increased scene transition time, will be deployed soon. After the server instance has been built, this will be a back-end deploy and will not require a client update. We're hopeful this helps, though are not absolutely certain. Other efforts and investigations are also still very active. While we're in this period that is essentially downtime, scene transition times are expected not to work or be extremely long. We did just deploy a large bandwidth increase to the social services, which we expect will help with times for party invites, friend requests, etc. We've made a couple deployments to the event matchmaking service just now, which may improve scene transition times. Ideally, all these changes were going to fix or at least help the issues people had been experiencing. Load times would go down, people would be able to hop in with ease, towns would actually be usable, as would the Monolith of Fate. However, it all led up to this next fateful update from Judd at 2:00 p.m. Eastern. Online gameplay is currently down. Web matchmaking API in a failed state and causing infinite loads. That's right, the servers completely died. Online mode was off the table, while offline mode was, quite literally, the only thing on the table for Last Epoch players. There's no way people were going back to Diablo 4 or PoE right now. The outrage mounted. The riots ran rampant across the forums, Discord servers, and Reddit threads, yet a bastion of positivity remained. Shockingly, many people did act like adults, understanding this was an upsetting situation, not only for the people who wanted to play Last Epoch online, but for those who were desperately trying to get the game up and running as well. The complete online server downtime continued for about 5 hours until the CEO's next update at 6:53 p.m. Eastern Time. Online services are recovering, and we're monitoring stability. Many seem to be connecting and playing without issue, but we are investigating reports of players who are unable to log in. Thank you all again for your patience. The servers were back live again on day 2. For real. I was able to log in and play, as were many others. Unfortunately, load times were still ridiculous and disconnects still did occur, but the game was playable online for the most part and for most people. The day ended with an update not from Judd, but from the EHG community team about their Refer a Friend system and bugs. Oh yes, I haven't even dabbled in this yet. So EHG decided to implement a Refer a Friend system that rewarded special bee cosmetic pets. If you referred up to 3 people who ended up playing Last Epoch, you would get these sweet bees. Well, it also worked on people who already owned Last Epoch. So people ended up spamming, "Here's my referral for bees" in Last Epoch's in-game global chat, in Discord, in Twitch, in Reddit, well, everywhere they could. It was hilarious and annoying. To stem the tide of, "I need the bees," people, EHG announced the following at 9:20 p.m. Eastern. Travelers, we have heard your concerns with the current Refer a Friend system implementation and will be temporarily disabling it. Because we aren't fans of letting a small issue ruin the fun for others, we will be granting everyone who owns a copy of Last Epoch all 3 of the bee pets. However, the teams here are very focused on getting services back up and working. As a result of us not wanting to take away time from that, we are going to hold off on granting these rewards until services are stable. Our current plan is to monitor the situation and grant all 3 bee pets and the autumnal wrap to everyone who owns Last Epoch by Friday, March 1st. We very much appreciate the continued support while we work through these issues. More free cosmetics for us! And then we received the ultimate message of the night at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern. The in-game bug report tool should now be accepting bug reports again. We were getting bees for free, and we could once again report bugs for free too. Wins all around to end day 2. Alas, it was time for the next day to begin. Day 3 of Last Epoch's launch has gone surprisingly well so far. The morning opened up with a cheery post from Judd with an emoji too. Morning everyone. We have multiple deployments updates planned for today that we'll keep everyone posted on. The team has been hard at work to figure out the bottlenecks we're having with the high load. Our goal is to still increase stability and address slowed services that are resulting in increased load times and sometimes disconnects or the inability to log in. A few hours later, Judd followed up. We are heads down and working on multiple targeted improvements for both online gameplay intermittence and bugs that you all have found and reported, with intent on releasing these improvements today. I don't currently have an ETA to provide, as they are still going through QA certification. Thank you all for your patience and excitement. I'll keep you guys posted. About 2 hours after that update, Judd let everyone know a few more patches were being thrown out. We're deploying a backend update that will reduce stress on servers. This may cause transition time and login issues momentarily. Then, a little bit later, matchmaking starting to recover. Towns are a little backed up. Then, we've just made an update that should assist in login queue throughput for people logging into US Central servers. After people showcased a silly amount of fury over the focus, Judd added, edit. We're not prioritizing US Central over others. There was just a bottleneck for that region specifically that was not present elsewhere. Then at 2:43 p.m. Eastern Time, a nice patch hit the servers addressing some quest failsafes alongside some item and skill issues. This was good, safe progress. And all around, people could play Last Epoch both offline and online all throughout Friday. More and more online players began hitting the Monolith of Fate. Some people even hit level 100 on their characters in hardcore solo self-found. Seriously, an impressive feat. EHG seemingly had stabilized the servers, finally on day number 3, in the middle of the workday for most people in the US, before the weekend. Oh no. Oh no, no, no. If everyone thought Last Epoch's Wednesday Grand 1.0 server opening went poorly, may I introduce you to the first weekend of Last Epoch 1.0. Midday Friday in the US, Last Epoch hit a peak of 193,483 concurrent players. I wouldn't be surprised if by Friday night, that was breaching 225,000, with even more on Saturday and Sunday. Are the servers prepared to absorb that amount of people in a sustained, stable manner? Well, before launch after Judd's heartfelt, confident statement, I would say yes. After Wednesday's shakiness and Thursday's 5-hour blackout, I am cautiously pessimistic about Last Epoch's first weekend. but only in terms of server stability. Continuing on after day one, the developers have continued to communicate excellently on all fronts. The CEO is sending personal notes in Discord, members of the EHGQA team are posting on the Last Epoch subreddit, devs are in Twitch chats and YouTube comments finding absolutely all they can about the game's current issues and trying to fix them. It's refreshing to see yet another development studio operate in this manner. We've all seen massive launches fail, even by absolutely gargantuan companies. Games run by Blizzard and Microsoft, even one of my favorite once upon a time indie studios, Grinding Gear Games, has also experienced rocky launches, and the latest occurred almost a decade after their 1.0 launch for Path of Exile. This is EHG's first, and despite the absolute disaster that has been online mode, they've handled it well, and I shall reiterate, they had an entire offline mode prepared to play from the very first moment. From all the YouTube comments about it, it seems like plenty of people are indeed playing offline. That's great. I'm an online mode enjoyer, so I'm only level 31 as a Fire Acid Flask Falconer. It's incredibly fun. Let's hope this is the final "The Last Epoch launch situation is getting crazier and crazier" video from me. I know we all appreciate EHG's communication, and many of us are deeply enjoying all that Last Epoch has to offer. Let's have a fun weekend, fellow travelers and exiles, and pray to Eterra to help the servers. Did you miss the rundown of what exactly happened before Last Epoch's launch and the beginning of the disaster on day 1 of 1.0? Fret not. I have a video laying out exactly what went down. Watch it now.